Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about multi-step problems. Now remember when I said how every skill that we learn will come back in some way? Well, this is one of those cases. Multi-step problems combine many things that we've learned into one problem. You will see distributive property, combining like terms, skills that we used in standard to slope form, one-step problem, and two-step problems all rolled into one. Now it can look kind of terrifying, but if you take it step by step, you will do just fine. Now, for these notes, there are so many variety of ways that multi-step problems can be presented. So what I have done in these notes is I have given probably the worst type of problem that you're going to see. Something that has every single bit towards it. It's okay. We'll do it. Just remember to follow these steps, and no matter what type of problem you have, you will get the answer. So here we go. So step 1. We're going to complete distributive property by multiplying the number in front of the parentheses by everything inside. So if you have distributive property, that's your first step. If you don't have distributive property, you'll move on to step 2. This has distributive property, so I am going to do that. I have a 5 in front of the parentheses, and I need to multiply that by 2x and -3. So 5 times 2x is 10x, and 5 times -3 is -15. Great, I have done my distributive property. I am just going to write down everything else I didn't use because it's still part of the problem. Now that I've done step 1, I'm going to go on to step 2. Step 2 is combining like terms on the same side of the equal sign. So remember, when we're combining like terms, only numbers with variables can be matched up with the same number and variable. If it does not have a variable with it, you cannot combine them. On this side of the equal sign, I have a positive 10x and a positive 1x. Both of those numbers have x's, so I know I can combine them. And 10x plus 1x, because I know there's a 1 in front of that x, is going to be 11x. And also on that side of the equal sign, I have a -15 and a -7. Neither of those numbers have a variable with it, so I know that I can combine them to get -22. Now I can't combine anything on this side of the equal sign because 7 has an x with it and 8 does not. So all I'm going to do is just continue to rewrite it. Great, I've taken something that's very long and I'm kind of shortening it down. Also, if you do not have anything to combine on one side of the equal sign, then that's fine. Just move on to step 3, which is what we're going to be doing next. Now we're going to be combining like terms again, but we want to move one variable to the other side of the equal sign. It does not matter which one you choose. I can choose the 11x or I can choose the 7x. But no matter what you do, you always have to complete the opposite operation. We use these skills in the standard slope when we move the x to the other side. And we're going to do that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that 7x just because I feel like it. It doesn't always have to be that second one. It can be the first one. Whatever's easiest for you. That is a positive 7x. So in order to move it to the other side, I need to do the opposite operation, which is subtracting, or a negative. 7x minus 7x cancel right out, and I am left with -8 on that side of the equal sign. But remember, whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other. Now, since the 7 has an x, I can't combine it with negative 22. So I'm going to put my negative 7 right underneath my 11x because both of these have variables with them. And 11 minus 7 will get me 4x. And that negative 22, I didn't use it, so I'm just going to bring it down. If you don't have to move a variable from one side to the other side of the equal sign, that's fine. Just move on to step 4. And look at this, step 4. That's something that you have seen before. This is when you have it in your two-step equation. And to complete this step, all you have to do is use your opposite strategy. Use the skills that you know how to use when you're completing a two-step problem. Because we have two numbers that are being passed to the x. So here I go. I need to get rid of this negative 22 because that's kind of that third wheel friend. I can get rid of that negative 22 by adding 22 on both sides of the equal sign. And I have 4x is equal to 14. Great. Now I finally got it down to one step. And I can get that one step done by dividing 4 on each side. I'm dividing by 4 because 4 and x are multiplying, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So I have x is equal to 3.5. Yay, you have your answer. Now, there's still one more step though. That step is to plug your answer in for x in the original equation to check to see if it's correct. Don't worry, you can do it. It's just like what we have done when we've done evaluating expressions. Something else that came back up. So our original problem was 5 parentheses 2. And now instead of an x, I'm going to write what my answer was 3.5. Minus 3 minus 7 plus, and instead of x, I'm writing 3.5 equals 7. And again, instead of x, I'm writing 3.5. And then minus 8. Whoa, that's a lot. But you're going to just use order of operations in order to solve this. So again, I'm going to start what's inside my parentheses, and I will have 5 times 7 minus 3 minus 7 plus 3.5 equals 24.5, which is 7 times 3.5, minus 8. Gotta still do what's inside my parentheses, and I'm going to do 5 times 4. Write down everything else. Of course, you could combine some steps, but I'm just kind of laying it out so you can see what I am doing when doing order of operations. Now I can multiply to get 20 minus 7 plus 3.5 equals 24.5 plus 8. Now that I have that, I can use my calculator, use my brain, go to the side of the paper, write it all down, and you will see that I have 6.5 is equal to 6.5. And that is true. So my number is complete. Now, when you're plugging in your answer, you of course don't have to write down every single step. You can use your calculator, but please make sure you are plugging in. And that's it. Complete those steps no matter what problem you're doing, and you can do multi-step problems. Good luck.